Let me switch the one I'm using. It's not gonna move around. I know at one time, there was a time I was using it wasn't popping up.
Right. Say check,
I wanted to just
check. Check, check. Check, check.
Check, check.
Yeah.
Open up, there we go.
There we go.
There we go. Let's go. Don't be fat.
There you go. It's on you.
I have one quick announcement before we start tonight. Secret is not going to be here tonight. She is at Mexico helping kids. So if you need any help, just ask me, Bella or people. It's your choice. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right, now.
Thank you, Pinkville, in the building. You know what I'm talking about? All right, y'all. So, we are beginning another session of Melanin Mondays. Welcome, welcome, my ATL family. Give yourselves a hand, all right? We are out here, yeah. Weather-wise, this is an anomaly. It is a day that everybody in Atlanta, I'm sure, is going to remember because it's snowing today. And you know how Atlanta is built. Whenever it snows, the city shuts down. But it just started snowing. It wasn't like it was snowing all day. It's little flurries and whatnot. I guess because it's so cold outside. So for all of the family out there in YouTube land, you know, y'all get a treat and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? People want to be in the comfort of their fireplace. But I'm going to do this before we even begin tonight. I want to give shout outs to my YouTube family. People have been hitting me on the inbox and saying they feel a little bit neglected sometimes. So we're gonna do the roll call. I'm gonna do the roll call with the family out there on Melanin Monday to see where y'all at, so we can tap in, make sure we're connected all around the world. You know what I'm talking about? So let's start out with this roll call. Shout out to the family, the KT aliens out there in YouTube land. Somebody said they had to get the sheepskin out. That's right. You know what I'm talking about? I had to get the beaver out, you know? It's cold in this thing. And you know it gets cold in the morning too. All right, Little Rock is in the building. Phoenix, Arizona's in the building. Jersey's in the building. South Fulton, Georgia's in the building. Hampton, Virginia's in the building. Milwaukee in the building. North Carolina in the building. Mississippi, Moreno Valley, all right? Brooklyn in the building. Another Brooklyn in the building. Denver in the building. Alright, drum roll, please. We have Third Ward, Texas in the building. Yeah, we got the Third Ward. Alright. Denver in the building. Alright, T-Dot. The global now, y'all. We got Toronto in the building. Selma, Alabama. Shout out to all of the family in Selma. Tulsa, Oklahoma in the building. Black Wall Street. Bryan, Texas. Alright? And we have my DJ. Hold on, we gotta give a shout out to the DJ of the Wheels of Steel. Give him a shout out. Buddy folks, the one and only, the only one. The one and only one. Alright? So we've been spinning some old school, we've been spinning some classic tunes, along with some up-to-date classics. Houston, Texas in the building. California in the building. Alright? Hartford, Connecticut in the building. Fort Washington, Maryland in the building. Love and light to all of y'all. MIA in the building. Oakland, California in the building. Town business. Oh, the Bahamas is in the building. That's right. Send us a ticket. Y'all got an extra room out there in the Bahamas? You got the guest room open? Florida in the building. Broward County. Money is a major issue. Connecticut in the building. West Phoenix in the building. Oakland in the building. I see you. PA in the building. Shaker Mexican, Philadelphia. Shout out to all of the family. Love and light KTO family, gods and goddesses. Yes, yes indeed. You already know what it is. Like I said, it's out there. If it's snowing in Atlanta, I can imagine what it's doing out there where some of y'all live at. Stay warm, you know what I mean? Stay insulated, you know. Stay out of that Jack Frost if you don't gotta be out there. Best die in the building, do or die. I see you. Warren, Ohio in the building. What did Pam say? You used to get it in Ohio. Shout out to Ohio in the building. A lot of y'all live in some very powerful places. Y'all are on some very powerful grids. And you live in areas where there's a lot of growth and development taking place in the minds of the people, business-wise, entrepreneur-wise, and things of that nature. It's 63 degrees in New Jersey, and it's snowing in Atlanta. That's called a shift. You know, the power of these things like live video, we get to see how things are beginning to change in places that, you know, that used to be one way and now they're another. I remember being on a live the other night. I was in Atlanta. It was bright as hell. But in New York, it was dark. And I'm like, I know that that's, you know, a little while down. They call it up north, but it's really down north. I know that's down the Beltway and whatnot, but that was kind of weird. I thought it got dark in New York as well as it got dark in Atlanta around the same time. The only place like California I would understand, but that goes to show you. But the shift is beginning to take place. So where the snowbirds would fly to stay warm, they can't do that anymore. Because I remember people would come to Atlanta to escape New York winters. But if you come to Atlanta, you'll see that they go through the 4 seasons now. It wasn't like that when I first got down here. We didn't wear heavy coats. I didn't have, like when I was here, I came in 97, we were only really wearing heavy coats in February. Yeah. Somebody said that Houston is cold as hell. You feel me? Somebody said that it's cold in Houston. So, you know, one of the reasons why we're going on retreats, the way that we've been going on, we have one scheduled in December, and our sister Secret, she's in Tulum right now, Tulum, Mexico. She has her event going on. It started today, and it's going all the way on until the 5th of the month. She's going to be in Tulum, Mexico. Chef Aki is going to be out there with her. Devon Soul is going to be out there with her. Mama Tassilis is going to be out there with her. And a whole bunch of other people who bought tickets. I believe it's sold out. They're going to be out there. And then we're going to be in San Juan from December the 12th to the 14th. We're going to be with Supernova Slum. We're going to be with our brother Billionaire PA. It's going to be Red Pill and Blue Pill. And we're also going to have our sister Rain Global and Karma Soul. They're going to be in the building. We're going to be dealing with holistic entrepreneurship. And we're also going to be dealing with plant-based medicines and the healing that needs to take place. And we're also going to be charging up, preparing ourselves for the conjunction that's taking place December 21st, when you're going to have that 0 degrees conjunction, where you'll have Pluto, Jupiter, and Saturn lining up. There's going to be a lot of shift taking place from a biological level, a DNA, intracellular level, all the way up to, you know, your highest mind. You feel me? So, you know, right now, as we enter into the month of December, this is considered to be countdown time. This is considered to be the countdown of, you know, because at the end of December is the end of the fiscal year. It's not necessarily the New Year's. It's the end of the fiscal year, which is basically, you know, the end of the time that you go over your books. So at the end of the fiscal year, which is January 1st, that is the time that animals are in hibernation. That's going to be a time of, you know, basically the proverbial death season. You know what I'm talking about? That's the time where nature is in its death cycle. The leaves are not here anymore. The leaves are dead. The flowers are dead. You know, things are in hibernation. Animals are inside of caves. The beavers are in, the squirrels are inside of the tree and whatnot. And as human beings who have taken a lot, not only this year, but every year of your life, this is the time to recharge. This is the time to get your batteries recharged. This is the time to get out of the big city. This is the time to go somewhere like the tropics. This is the time to go up like somewhere close to the equator and really just get a charge, get some vitamin D. Because the sun is at its weakest right now. And as melanated people, when we don't have a lot of sunlight feeding our cells, what takes place? Depression, anxiety. We begin to have all of these issues and whatnot. Dis-ease, the flu season, COVID-19, or whatever that thing is that's out there that people are dying from. Because to get up here and say that people are not dying, and that every single person that is dying died as a result of them putting them on a ventilator, well, because they have flu, that would just be erroneous at this point. There's something out there. In the way that they're hyping up this new fear campaign by pushing the vaccine and whatnot, it's beginning to look like they're putting something out there. You know what I'm talking about? So it's very important to be proactive. It's very important to be, you know, to not have pre-existing conditions, but to have proper preparation so you don't have a piss poor performance when it comes to your health, going through this cycle of what is known uncertainty. Because you don't know what's going, you don't know what necessarily January 2021 has to offer when the inauguration takes place. You don't know what's going to happen before it. You feel me? So instead of being in fear and instead of being on defense, because I said this earlier on Instagram on a live that they wound up cutting off, and, you know, basically took the live. I said that there's two types of people in this world. There's people on offense, and then there's people on defense, especially in this community. Now, the people on defense is what we call the reactionaries. The reactionaries are the people who sit back and they react to things. They wake up and they actively look for stories to react to. Who got killed? And is that person now Christian to be a hashtag? Because the hashtag is a form of martyrdom. It's a new form of sainthood. Especially when you're dealing with organizations that are multi-billion-dollar organizations. And what do these organizations do? The organizations have a product. What is the product? The product is the hashtag. What do you mean? The product of these multi-million-dollar organizations that are political. They have political power. Not only do they have political power, they have influence. Not only do they have influence, they have records in the Guinness World Book of Records. What do you mean, Brother Red? What I mean is Black Lives Matter broke a record for the most people that they ever brought out to protest. And that was this summer. They eclipsed the civil rights movement They have records. They raise the most amount of money in the quickest amount of time for a nonprofit. They broke a record. So Black Lives Matter has a product. What is this product? I'll let you know. This organization started with a product. The product was Trayvon Martin, who happens to be a corpse. Then it came with another product called Mike Brown, who happens to be a corpse. Then they had a limited release of another product called Sandra Bland, who happened to be a corpse. Then they disappeared after they collected millions of dollars, and nobody said anything about the money. Nobody said, where's your studio? Where's your buildings? Where's your hospitals? Who is your master teacher? Why don't you say the name of a living black person? Nobody charged them. They were talking about us all day. They were talking about the conscious community. They were throwing us under the bus. But nobody charged the woke organization that is filing taxes on dead days. I mean, look at this. Really look at this. The product that they have is a dead black man. It's really black men most of the time. Black lives matter. And we spoke about this when we decoded. We didn't necessarily do the etymology. We did the metaphysics on Black Lives Matter. What's a black life? And what is Black Lives Matter? If you want to play with words, Black life matter. Matter is a play on words. Life is a play on words, but matter is a substance, correct? Like, there's matter. There's spiritual, and then there's matter. So the only matter that has a black life is sperm. Black life is DNA. Black life is a light. Black life matter is the blue light. That's what they call the blue light. That's what they call the seed of light. The fact that they focus on black men who have died, yet and still the organization's mission statement, the founders and what they represent is not pro-black life. They don't include black men in their mission statement until I think they took it down and put it back up. But this organization is not pro-life. This organization is not pro-black family. This organization is not even a pro-black father or pro-black man. They don't do anything for black men that are really alive. People will ask, what about prison reform? They said that's not what this business is about. This organization deals with black men who have been murdered by the police. This organization deals with black men who have been erroneously, unjustly murdered. And what do we have on the scorecard of the Black Lives Matter and their defendants and the people that they brought to justice? We have a bunch of lawsuits. They say no justice, no peace. Shout out to my brother TARIQ in the building. Please give him a hand. All right. Think it, grow rich. All right. That is going to be one of our featured speakers tonight. Salute King. Smoke and grow rich. My bad. Smoke and grow rich. I'm on the roll. So the concept of an organization whose product is black people who have died, yet and still they do not actively push black men who are alive doing things, such as myself, such as this brother, such as the hundreds of black men who are on the front line saying, what about me? You know what they do? They give them a picket sign and say, I can't breathe. A negative affirmation that will do nothing for you in your course of life, because breath is the quote-unquote only thing that we need to survive. So if you affirm to the universe that you can't breathe, that's not bringing to justice the brother that got choked out. That's not helping anybody. What it is it's affirming something negative. Hands up, don't shoot. Negative affirmation. Am I next? Negative affirmation. I could go on for days. No justice, no peace. All of these are oxymorons. I can show you the paperwork where all of these slogans were created inside of think tanks, inside of Tavistock Institute and other places where they socially engineer our people. The same way that this organization was put You know when they say that someone is an industry plant? Well, when George Soros bought a 48-hour media block when Mike Brown was heinously murdered, and then he put Black Lives Matter into the forefront. There was an activist who got murdered by the name of Darren Seals. There were 4 other activists that got murdered out there because they knew the truth and they were speaking out about this organization that they said infiltrated by way of Twitter. They got placed in front of cameras. They were not true freedom fighters. They utilized that quote-unquote incident to catapult themselves into stardom, and then they took that stardom and they built a movement. That movement is tied into the Democratic Party. That movement is tied into Israel. That movement is tied into Planned Parenthood. That movement is tied into everything that's not beneficial to our people. And it's a necromancy movement, meaning that they are highlighting the murder and the lynching of black people, but they're not talking about making them saints. They're not talking about getting justice for them. What are they doing? They're pillaging them. They're taking from them, and they're giving their parents checks or their family members, and then they take these names and they monetize them, they trademark them, they copyright them. They're going all around all around the world on these names. But name me 10 black men and black women that they're highlighting that are alive. Why are we focusing on people that are not here? So that's reactionary. That's called being on defense. They break all of the marches out. Does anybody know what those marches this summer got us? Does anybody know? Anybody? Even with the people that got elected to be Congress people, was that a result of these marches? Did the marches that were taking place that broke records this summer, did that build us any hospitals? Because the new COVID is coming. Do we have new shelter as a result of that? Did we buy back a block? Did we buy back an avenue? Did we buy a city? I don't think so. So here you have hundreds of thousands of people coming out on some reactionary shit. They're now raising money on the spot to say, you know what, if we're going to come out of George Floyd's name, a dead black man, whose last videos was telling y'all, get your shit together and do something for the children. If we're going to come together for Sandra Bland, whose last videos were talking about getting our stuff together, coming together, joining forces, bringing our resources together and building. Nobody did nothing for her. So how do you edify her memory? How do you edify, what's the brother, Eric Garner's memory? Nobody built nothing in his name. He don't have land in his name. Nobody went and bought acres to say, you know what? Y'all killed that man. Y'all got a $10 million settlement. We're going to take those $10 million and build a land and name it after him. Like how they got Georgetown. They named all of this land after their forefathers who were what? Slave owners. Bankhead Highway. Bankhead, that man was responsible for destroying all of the mounds in Indian land, where the ANOS is from, and the FBA is from, right? Sovereign Indian land. He ran highways through your land. The people that took the hemp, you know what I mean? The dollars and whatnot, all of these things. Lincoln and all of these slave owners. Andrew Jackson, I'm talking about Hitler of the USA, Andrew Jackson. Does anybody know about the horrors that Andrew Jackson committed? Go and research the Jacksonian Democrats. Yes. Yes, he's responsible for the Trail of Tears, right? He's from Waxhaw, right there near Charleston, right? He's of that breed of European that were basically out there savage, all in the, you know what I mean? The ones who were responsible for enslaving and driving out and always fighting the tribes that lived in Georgia and in the Carolinas. You understand? These were mighty warriors. There's tales of these warriors that were so strong that they would shoot arrows that would go through oak trees. They shot arrows the size of my arm. They were undefeated. And steel sharpens steel. So these Jacksonian, these were the Europeans that ravaged and went into the West and started killing off everything. When the cowboys raided it, when they had the gold rush into Georgia, when they had the gold rush into the West, all of those cowboys that rode off into the West, a lot of the ones that rode up in Nebraska, rode up in Oklahoma, went with Montana, all that land is Indian land. That's those crackers right there. You feel me? Murderous, heartless, the Jacksonians. Look them up. They were trying to make Harriet Tubman replace him. You feel me? But the Daughters of the American Revolution, and there's a whole bunch of other organizations who basically their headquarters are in Georgia. Because Stone Mountain is the headquarters to this whole operation. The base, right there, right in our backyard. That's where a lot of their power is. And they're all on the outskirts. If anybody knows this town, you know that all of your enemies circle you. They're in Conyers, they're in Lithonia, they're in Gwinnett. They circle us because Atlanta's a circle. So we trapped in a circle. And all of these rednecks and whatnot, KKK, they're all around us. They're in the outer circle. They own the property through the real estate. They don't own the land. They own the real estate. And they have Negro bullets, broken wrists, these fraternity guys, right? These Masonic fraternity bullet dudes, they are the ones who are they're the Geppettos, and those are the Pinocchios, and they run the niggas. Through the pastors, through the mega church system, through the politics. After, what was his name? Maynard Jackson. I think they say that he was the last one for the people. After him, it was a free-for-all. You know what I'm talking about? This whole state, this is a narco state. This is the #1 slavery state. Because human trafficking is slavery. Everybody riding on Trump's coattail all of a sudden like, you're going to give Donald Trump the position to save our babies. You're going to give rednecks and Donald Trump, oh, I praise Donald Trump because he's stopping child trafficking. Nigga, that means that you're not built to live. What are you talking about? Donald Trump? And who? The Proud Boys, nigga? They're going to rescue your baby? That's who you're waiting for? Come on. Our people fell for that. That's the biggest business going. It never stopped. In 1808, when they shut down the borders, and they actually came out with a law, and this gave the rise to piracy and whatnot, that if any ship was importing slaves, you could get hung. So what did the European, they call them trappers, like the same niggas that they call trappers right now, trap rap. They call they call them trappers and traders, like Trader Joe. So it'd be Trader John, Trader Joe, Trader George. They were trading bodies. Those bodies sold for the same amount of money that a bird sells for. 17.5. Like I said, we're in a narco state. So we can understand these conversations because the mentality is still here. And these niggas are selling each other. Sex trafficking, human trafficking. What is the #1 place in the world? It's Atlanta. It's Atlanta. Right underneath everybody's nose, you got slavery up in this bitch. They doing human trafficking. In that airport right there, they running people's body parts and human beings all up and down like they was running on slave ships. Come on, bro. And the headquarters of this whole thing is in Stone Mountain. Nobody is, people is not even doing nothing about that. So but no one has half the battle. When you look at the Atlanta child murders, going deeper, that's when it really started. This is a very dark place. This Atlanta has an underworld to it that I don't think anybody really knows. You don't want to see this underworld. This is a very dark place. And at the core of it, it's your own people selling you out. They look like us. It's niggas working in tandem with the people. You feel me? Ain't nothing happening by mistake. So the spell that has been put on this state is still on this state by the same people. And they play games with all of this election cycles. Democrat, Georgia is blue, Georgia is red. That don't mean nothing when it comes to breaking up what is known as the rat line. That's what they erroneously call it the deep state. The deep state is the fact that these Europeans and these government officials have to have an underworld. They have to run the underworld market because the underworld market is the money that they get from this underworld racket and this underworld market by running the guns, by running the drugs, by running the people, the human trafficking, by running the human organs, organ harvesting, by running everything that they have their hands in so they can fund illegal wars and everything else that they do. That's how they do it. So, you know, it is what it is, but being proactive and not being on defense, being proactive is being able to take information and apply it. Being able to take information and use it to prepare yourself for anything that will come. Not waiting for something to happen, making things happen. That's the difference. There's the reactionaries, which will be the woke community, and there's no offense to the wokesters. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody has to start somewhere. But that would be the reactionaries. Those would be the people that react. Oh my goodness, something happened, Red Pill. What are we going to do? My question to them was, what have you been doing? Because if you've been doing something, all you got to do is keep doing what you've been doing. And utilize these situations to teach more people. But if you've been doing something, keep doing it. And if you haven't been doing something, why don't you support the people that have been doing it? That's how you react. But to react with fear, to react with anger, to react by looting, to react by going on social media and losing it, all of those things are a reaction thing that Mark Zuckerberg, if you watch the documentary Social Dilemma, they've monetized your outbursts. They've monetized your rage. It's a bag to them. They sell your data. You know what I mean? They learn how to monetize your reaction. They'll be like, yo, remember the George Floyd incident? Well, we collected 800 terabytes of information on our black audience ages 8 to 80 in all of the major states where there was a riot, and we're willing to sell it to the company that's creating the AI robot dogs, or a company that's trying to identify dissidents or people who are enemies of the state through a drone or through facial recognition in a camera 7-Eleven. They buying all that. Come on. We falling for everything that they throwing at us. Addicted to Instagram, addicted to Facebook, addicted to the apps because we won't build our own shit. We like, I want to get off of there, but we stuck like this. Because they made it sticky, right? One of the things when you get into this tech world, when you get into getting funded by the tech giants and whatnot, you're going to learn about attention retention. You're going to learn about making something sticky. You're going to learn that the more sticky the thing, the more money you can get. When they put these businesses and they become public and whatnot, they do their IPO, the reason that, especially when it's a media business or a new media business, the reason why they get 500 million on the first round or 800 million is because they're somewhere in their business model where they're showing their investors, I made an app or I made something that will stick a nigga and make them stay watching me or stay using it or stay coming back to it because that's what they want to see. Instagram is sticky, right? You get on it, you're like, I'm about to get off of it, but I can't get off of it. Facebook, sticky. I want to read the comments. I'm going to scroll for 10 more minutes. Maybe I'm going to come across something more exciting. Twitter is sticky. I want to read the thread. I want to read the retweets. Who retweeted my stuff? What's the trending topic? What's the hashtag? All of these things. And let's not even talk about the aspect of the dopamine that they know that they're going to release when you get a like, right? When you get a like, when somebody likes your comment, when somebody likes you when you go live and people are liking you, when somebody likes, something that you say, you get 800 likes. Or somebody might attack you and you bomb back and then you get mad likes and whatnot. That's releasing dopamine into your system. It's almost akin to getting high. So today, I was on an app called Clubhouse, which is going to be another sticky app that is going to capture people's attention and whatnot and take up a lot of their time. And also is going to benefit a lot of people because of what it offers, right? It's audio, it's not visual. Hold on, Bella. And there was a room that I was in, and the brother Daylight was hosting the room, and he was talking to the women about relationships. And he was asking, it was packed with beautiful women in there. And he was asking the sisters, he said, I've been off of the market for 13 years, you know what I'm saying? But what I want to know is, how is the dating scene these days? How's it go? Are brothers just walking up to you and saying, peace, queen, peace, goddess, peace, sister, I think you're cute, I want to take you out. And a resounding no came from the room, and they all in unison said, nah, it's all taking place in the DM, son. Niggas are sliding in the DM. And it's going down in the DM, right? And they said, right, that's why I love social media when you utilize it for social network. I'm getting into big data. I'm utilizing this to begin to see the psychological behaviors of my people. That's how you use these things. They said resoundingly, the like button, right? The like button. The thing that Zuckerberg added to the Facebook post. And when you read the white paper, he'll explain why he did that. They'll give you the research and the data behind the like button. How that shit is wired to your synapses in your brain. It's like, nah, the like button changed everything. So Shorty is like, yo, if they like my pictures, that's an invite that they like me. And then if they slide in the DM and the conversation is lit, then you got yourself a match right there. Simplified dating, like this. Microwave dating, like this. It turns into a hookup. Right? With the introduction of emojis, they've taken away language. And, hold on, Bella, please. They've taken away language and demoted it. So before, when I told a joke, people would literally laugh. Now the joke has been crunched to LOL. Right? Before, you would react to something and be like, oh my goodness. Now it's WTF. They're taking the emotions out of language. I'm supposed to know that you laugh by putting the LOL. If you put multiple LOLs, I'm like, oh, she was laughing. But it's going to get to a point in the future where that emotion won't even be admitted. It's just going to be LOL. It won't even be a laugh coming out anymore. So even text messages, the way that we communicate via text message, if somebody is beefing with you and you type out, yo, I'm going to pull up on you, you fool, that's way different than if you in their face, like, I'm going to pull up on you, nigga, you fool. They don't even got to pull up. They just going to type it and send it out in all caps, and they pulled up. You see how they're taking away how we communicate right through technology, and we don't even see it. We're becoming what our good brother who came on the show, one of our alumni, Buddha Clinks, he called it the Android meme. We're becoming the androids. You know what I'm saying? Through this technology. So we have to be mindful of that. We have to learn how to, just bring communication back. Okay? So I'm going to let Bella communicate. Do you have something you want to say to the family? Say something. Say hi to the people in YouTube land. Go ahead.
Hi, family.
All right. What we gonna do tonight?
We are going to. We are gonna have a big night tonight at Monday night, like always.
That's right. That's right. All right. Give it up for Belly Out, please.
Yeah.
My co-host. Thank you, Mama. Appreciate it. Thank you. There you go. Yeah, you got my co-host for the evening, Wisdom Pink Pill, holding it down. So, you know, it's very important that we always put ourselves on what is known as offense, but also defense. But understand when you're being manipulated by the media. Understand when you're being manipulated by fearmongers. Understand when you're being manipulated to not see the silver lining of what is known as one of the most powerfulest, even if that's a word, one of the most influential, one of the most eye-opening years that I've ever experienced. I don't know about you, but according to the people that I've spoken to, this year has been extremely beneficial for them in many ways. The fact that they made us go home and spend time with ourselves. And who is they that I speak of? When I say they, I say the ancestors. When I say they, I say that the powers on higher principalities like they taught us in the Bible schools and whatnot. When they speak about higher principalities, they speak about forces that are unseen, that move things around. And you can't necessarily explain why these things are moving the way that they are. But when I give it up, I'm saying I'm giving it up to the ancestors. I'm giving it up to prophecy, because 2020, really, when you go back and read the prophecies about 2020, it did turn out the way that it was prophesied. We didn't know that it was going to be like this, but in hindsight, right, we're going right into December. This whole month should be spent in reflection of the monumental 12 months that we've all been going through. And also in preparation for how you're going to jump into the spring, which is 2021. That's why December is all about hibernation. December is all about really powering down. You know, we don't got to be in front of these cameras all year. We don't got to be on the stage. We don't got to be in front of people's faces. We don't got to be shining, right? Because anything that shines forever is going to die out eventually. You know what I'm talking about? That's why even like in the record or the music industry, some of your favorite stars, they disappear, like Kendrick, right? Like Beyonce or one of them. They disappear for a while and they let other people shine. Okay? I shine, you shine. They let their sun shine. That's the job of the Father in the first place. The Father's not supposed to be He's not supposed to be the one shining. The Father's supposed to let their sun shine. The Father's supposed to set it up for their sons. The Father's supposed to be the shadow boss. The Father's supposed to be on his Matthew Knowles shit. Or his Joe Jackson shit without the abuse. The Father's supposed to be in the background like Serena's pops, letting the sun shine, right? It's the job of the Father to make the way so the babies don't got to go through what the fathers went through. The Father knows it, and so does the mother, but it's the Father's job to make sure that the sun shines. So that's my purpose, you know, especially in the cycles that I'm in. Purpose in my journey at this point is I've done what needed to be done to push the culture where it needed to be pushed. You know what I mean? Like I've contributed a lot. My mother, my Umi, my Baba Sabi, and my biological pops, Wayne Moreland, along with other elders who were Babas in my life. Baba Samaj, a whole bunch of other Babas. They did what nobody had asked of them to do. They did what they did. They did the heavy lifting. They lifted this culture and had it on their shoulders. I could name a pantheon of master teachers who I personally were influenced by, and I would say that these people were responsible for my growth and development, my brain growth, my spiritual growth, my growth as a man. Because before that, I was like, shit, what would Jay-Z do? You know what I'm talking about? You know what I mean? What would Alpo do? They was feeding me, the culture was feeding me a diet of trappers, snitches, murderers, hustlers, gangbangers. That's who they was feeding me as heroes, bro. I was lucky because I knew about Farrakhan. I knew about Jeff Fort. I knew about Khalid Muhammad. I knew about these people because hip-hop introduced me to them. Like they introduced all of these other Negroes to them. I gravitated towards them along with the other people, and I was able to balance it out and find the silver lining, and I found the power in everybody. When I learned about Bumpy Johnson, I learned about the power in him, not the negative. I threw that away. I was like, I respect his courage. He went against the mafia, and I knew that the mafia was against the Moors. The mafia have an anti-Moorish sentiment. So the fact that they were trying to put heroin and dope and prostitution in our hoods and take over the gambling and take over the numbers game, which was taking people out of poverty, who came into Harlem, shout out to Harlem, who came into Chicago and all of these places, they were ran out of the South. The KKK ran them out the South. They moved. You know how we migrated because of gentrification in the big city? Well, they were moving because of lynching, my nigga. Not gentrification. They was moving because of lynching. Rosewood and, you know, Wilmington, North Carolina, 1898. The fact that they was having black people's heads on pikes and swinging from trees, you know, that aided and abetted with the migration. Now, this migration, we have a reverse migration, how people going back to the South, but I don't know if we going back to the South only to get shook up by the same white folk again. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Because niggas definitely was on fear factor mode this summer. How do you know? Because the crime rate is up everywhere. Where they was marching, niggas started killing each other. They ain't killed nothing else. They didn't bust no other fruits in a goddamn food fight. They start eating on each other. And the social engineers who've been doing this since Trayvon Martin, who've been doing this since the Watts riots, who've been doing this since the Red Summer of 1919, nigga, they know us. That's why they're called social engineers. And if you go and look at how much they pay these people, they paying them for something. They get paid a lot. Social engineers, think tanks, politicians, all of them have to deal with the domestic problem. And the domestic problem is niggas, black folk, people who are dead in the eyes of the Lord, right? Property that you could own. If you are a private citizen, you can own these niggas. They're still slaves. It's just another way of owning them. You could buy their birth certificate. You could buy their social security. You could buy their insurance. When we lock them up, you could buy some stock. You could buy futures in these niggas because we know they're gonna die. Come on, man. They own us in like 20 different ways. They make money on you every time you wake up. I promise you. You contracted. They got ownership. You going to get some medicine, huh? They got ownership. They making money off of that. You got to go to school, huh? That tuition. They making money off of that. You on probation? They making money off of you. You locked up? They got you. You got a drug habit? Nigga, they got you. You got a vice? Chances are they got their hands in that. So when we say sovereignty, we say nationality is the order of the day. When we say correct your status and man know thyself, when we say get off of the nipple of these people, when we say give back to Caesar what is theirs, we're saying give them back the contract. Don't even sign that shit. Stop having an aspiration to be a contracted dummy. Because all of your rappers, all of these niggas that people are living and dying for, they're retards. Look at what Dave Chappelle exposed. He said I was retarded. We got sympathy because it's fucking Dave. But he basically was like, yo, I played myself. Nigga, I signed a contract to whereas I get no money off of my syndication. I'm a slave. I might as well put it on my cheek. And 800 years later, we still gotta feel sorry for our people after we watch 800 episodes of Unsung. Where are they now? And all of that other shit that showed you that that's how they get you through the thirst. And the contract is the fact that you were so thirsty that you signed it all away. You gave them your publishing. You gave them the rights of your face just to stand on the stages. And I'm saying that you cannot complain about these day and ages because we live in a modern day and age. I'm presently present in the now, and we live in a day and age where you can own your image. You can own your name. You can stand on a stage that you built. The only middleman is the Wi-Fi provider. What the fuck is you saying? And niggas is still complaining. They still haven't figured it out, and we still not making millions of dollars a day because we're at the level that that's where we're supposed to be. There's a book called 1 Minute Millionaire. Everybody go read that. They're going to give you the game on how you can actively make $1 million a day if we work together as a network. It will not work as an individual. People talk about in this day and age there's no leaders, and I agree. The only leaders that there are thought leaders. You right, there's no leaders, but they show us some thought leaders, my nigga, and that's who's popping. Because a thought leader could turn you against your leader. I seen it happen on 125th Street for 10 years. The thought leaders came, they had niggas who just came out of the bed with crust in their eyes on camera tearing down religions. Had people around the world who was religious all their life questioning their leaders. Right? Facts. They would come to us on 125th Street like the chains had just got broken off of them. Oh, Brother Rand, you helped free me from my leader. I was under the spell, and I stumbled across those videos, and the thought leaders, the thought was so strong that it shattered my reality. And now I'm listening to every single thing that you guys are saying. I'm wearing the crystals. I'm drinking the sea moss. I'm praying to myself. Thought leaders who manipulated the lifestyles of millions of people, not just me, it's a few of us. The modern day thought leaders of not the conscious community is bigger than that of the whole hip hop generation. Because the highest echelon of hip hop is woke now. Jay-Z is the wokest nigga that you will ever meet. He's woke on 1,000. Beyonce is woke. Who else is on top? Nas is woke. They all woke. So there being Nipsey Hussle was woke. Who was influencing Nipsey Hussle? Somebody conscious. So there's a cycle that has been formed now. There is no degree of separation. Everybody is a household name. Everybody is being watched by everybody because we're in the attention economy, and niggas pay attention to what niggas pay attention to. That's how it works. If you got 100,000 views, you're sticky. So it don't matter if my name got a blue check on it. It don't matter if I'm a rapper. I'm like, what is this thing into? Because even the rappers are looking for a new energy to feed off of. The rappers are bored. They in their studios. They get tired of watching bump fights. They get tired of watching Raw Star. They get tired of watching all of the other channels. They have rigor. And then what took place, the conversion took place because even though they watched Vlad, they got to meet the conscious thought leaders on Vlad. So they came to where they at. And whenever you get inside of that vortex of a thought leader, it's going to take you to many other thought leaders because it's a dopamine. It's an opiate. I remember when I first got woken up and I took the red pill and I saw Zeitgeist. And I saw William Cooper, and I saw a DVD, it wasn't even a DVD, a VHS on the Illuminati. I needed more. I'm like, what's going on? I saw loose change. I'm like, nigga, what is this? If you grew up playing video games, Metal Gear Solid, and all of them other things, they already prepared you for this with the conspiracy in the video games. So it's a natural progression. That's why the whole world is being red-pilled right now. All of the people running around talking about Trump and QAnon, that's the same thing we was doing 20 years ago. Are you serious? They're regurgitating, they running with David Icke. They're regurgitating William Cooper. They're going through the same moment that we went through in like 98, bro. You know what I'm saying? They just got a new name for it. Candace Owens, Ben Shapiro, Alex Jones, David, all of that is information that we got exposed to before we met Phil, Valentine, Bobby Hemmett, and all of the master teachers. That's the only thing that is. And for all of the people that got red pilled, and that's the level that you came in on, it's like a video game. That's level 1, my nigga. You're in the basement. If this is Dungeon Dragon, you just fighting a ninja. You're not with the final boss. There's a long way to go to see the final boss. You're not on that level. You're beginning. And it's a beautiful thing. And I welcome you to wokeness. I welcome you on this journey. I welcome you in this endeavor, on this road to perdition. I welcome you. But there's more to go, because ultimately what it is you finding out that you. Remember Scooby-Doo when they used to take the hood off? And it was Scooby-Doo. Wait a minute. How did that happen? You know, when you're on this road, that you reach somewhere, when you take the hood off the bad guy and nigga, you're staring back at yourself. That's when you know that you've arrived. When you come to find out that you've been writing the script the whole time. When you come to find out that you was causing all of this stuff to happen. When you come to find out that you needed an adversary in order to even be in the story. You needed an adversary. You needed a villain. You needed somebody to be against. It had to be a protagonist and an antagonist. So if you get afraid because there's a boogeyman, or because you have an enemy, or somebody opposes you, or you've identified a hater, or that all of a sudden, oh, I got the records and I got the book to show you that white people don't like us, nigga, whoop-de-doo. What are you talking about? You're not saying nothing. That's already known. That's like a cat coming to me to show that the rat don't like, that he got drama with a rat. It's part of the story. So what did you have adversity? So what did you got somebody don't like you? So what somebody trying to kill you? Nigga, when you was born, everything on this planet is trying to kill you. Bacteria trying to kill you. The air was trying to kill you. If I put you in the forest, the wild boar trying to kill you. If I drop you in the water and prick your finger, the shark's gonna kill you. The piranha's gonna try to get you. You on an animal planet. Stop wasting time trying to point out the obvious and focus on how you're gonna, what's the number 1 law? Self-preservation. Offense, not defense. Offense. You waking up ready to kill, ready to drill. Your mind, your primal mind is already activated. You're not waiting for somebody to attack you. You're going out there, you're getting to the bag. You going out there, early bird get the worm. You getting up aggressively, going after whatever your dream is. Because you know, once you get to a certain level in your consciousness and you're actively on offense, you know what? That it's about man know thyself, and that you're a spiritual being having a human experience. And to be honest with you, this is only about experience. So if you want to go marching, my nigga, Black Lives Matter, go put the t-shirt on and do it. It's an experience. Right? They said that it was a Becky Fest. That's what my guy said, or in Brooklyn said. Yo, Ray, come to the march. It's a Becky Snow Bunny Fest. They're just hopping around. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, that's not what I'm into. I'm good. And then they went. They wanted that experience, right? They wanted that experience. So you get to choose what experience you want your spirit to partake in this waking life. Therefore, you make sure that you make the right decisions. Life is about decisions. Nobody can make any decision for you. White people is not responsible for the decisions that you make. The teacher that lied to you is not responsible for the decisions that you make. Neither is your mama or your papa. You are solely responsible if you look both ways before you cross the street. That's all on you, my Negroes. Okay? So if the messenger, if the ancestors send a prophet to you, if they send a messenger to you, if they send a goddamn text message to you, and it says be somewhere at this time, like in the Matrix first scene with Neo, and they knocked on the door and told him, come to the club at this time if you want to go past go and collect $200. And she had the white bunny tattoo on her, right? So it was his decision if he were to go or not. That's what life is right there. You're gonna get the opportunities. You're gonna meet the people. You don't know who they are until you make the right decisions. Everyone will not reveal themselves right away. People are in your life for reasons and seasons. Everybody has a purpose. As we go further down the road, we meet people like Ra Aku, cosmophysics. We meet people like King Simon, numerology, and they help you with these cheat codes to find out not only who you are, but who your mate is, who your child. When I got the reading on my child, I understood fully what to do and what not to do, and how to deal with her temperament and what not to do, because I understood who she was based off of her chart. They don't teach us this in regular, waking life. They don't teach us, now they might, going fast, now that this is commercialized, but they wasn't talking like this 10 years ago. So when you meet somebody and you think you're in love, my advice is go and get a reading with that person. Not necessarily your palms read. Go and get a chart. Go and get your charts read. It will help you in the navigation of the relationship, because the relationship is the same thing that when you look up in the sky and you see certain planets chilling together, or you see certain planets aligned. They may be aligned for a whole season, but there's going to come a day and time when those planets are going to drift apart and move on to other planets, right? And if it's as above, so below, how does that feature in your life? How does that feature in your relationships or your friendships and things like that? Even in your business relationship. Because I've done business with people and then they disappear out of my life, and then I link back up with them 6 years later, 7 years later, 10 years later, and it's like we never left each other. That's on personal, that's on business, and other relationships. So this is about the journey, y'all. And one of the great things about Know the Ledge, Melanin Monday, Third Eye Thursday, one of the great things about just this public display of the demonstration through YouTube and social media is that we get to share that with the world, right? Anybody that been following us since 2006, since we popped out on social media, you've been following the progression. You've met a network of hundreds of teachers that you never knew existed. You've been introduced to people from all different walks of life, master students, master teachers. You know what I'm saying? Like you've been brought into this fold through these pillars. This is almost like a secret society, because to be honest with you, if I kept it to myself, that's what it would be. If I never said, yo, let's turn these cameras on and let the niggas see what we talking about. Let's turn these cameras on and let the world see who you are. Let's introduce you to the world. Let's call me up. Let's have this conversation. And as much as I can say that, there's other people that can say the same thing. Brother Rich, Sa Netta, a few other people who were instrumental in what is known as black media. And they don't get the kind of applaud that they need. People are not valuing their contribution to shifting the paradigm. Shout out to my paradigm shifters. You know what I'm talking about? But I'm of the understanding that if there would be no paradigm shifters if there was no early iteration of these teachers who basically were shining their light and showing the world what it is to live conscious, to talk conscious, to walk conscious, to defend yourself on the front line, how to weaponize information and use it as a shield. You know, something that I don't totally agree with, but when you're dealing with the hip-hop generations, you know, we take things and we break them. We take laws and we break them. We mold things and we weaponize. We sharpen spoons and turn them into knives, my nigga. That's how we grew up. You feel me? We took toothbrushes and turned them into swords on the island. So the fact that somebody took the information and turned it into a bazooka, hey, you know, it is what it is. I understand it though. I get it in hindsight, respectfully. And this is about utilizing what works versus what don't work. And if you go on Instagram and if you go on social media, a lot of the thought leaders are utilizing tools that work. My brother Derek Grace made $1 million in 1 month. He's utilizing tools that work. I know hundreds of people that put up their Shopify store and showed during the COVID-19 lockdown how they became wealthy and rich and successful. They're utilizing the tools that works. They went from non-essential to essential. This ain't speculation. We don't gotta play games anymore. This ain't speculation. Niggas don't have to, you know, we don't have to ask permission anymore. Hold on a minute. Baby girl. Goody? You alright? What's up? You alright? You wanna sit on the drums? So, you know, that's what we have to pay. We have to always pay homage to the ones who got out here and put the media together, right? The ones who got out here and taught the world the lesson and brought the world these teachers. Am I correct? You know, and prior to that, we had brothers and sisters that were, you know, dealing with producing events and promoters and whatnot, like Eye Opener Promotions, you know, the promoters, when Sinetta was doing his promotions, even when AA brought Bobby Hemmett, whose birthday was just this weekend. Please give him a round of applause, y'all. All right? You had Bobby Hemmett and Dr. Sadie sharing a birthday this weekend. Dr. Sadie was on Thanksgiving, and Bobby Hemmett's birthday, I believe, was on Saturday. All right? So these are some powerful Sagittariuses who information and whose demonstration is still relevant to this day. Thought leaders, right? Dr. Sadie is a thought leader. He told you, don't follow me. I'm not perfect. Don't try to mimic your life after me. I ain't trying to be perfect. I'm not trying to be your leader, right? He said, shit, I got started in my 40s. Prior to that, I was a stone cold, what you call it, Negro. I was eating pork. I was blind. He had issues, right? He was admitting that he had fallacies. So you got to see Dr. Sadie Genesis, right? Shout out to A.A. Rashid. All right? You got to see Dr. Sadie in his second phase of life. Many of us in this room tonight are living out in our second phase of life, what I call our butterfly phase. Okay? The cocoon was those dark days that a lot of us went through. The cocoon was those sleepless nights that many of us had. The cocoon was the fact that when a lot of us was crawling on our bellies like caterpillars, eating dirt, right? We would sleep in the house late. We would sleep like we were vampires. We would be in dark rooms. We didn't like the sunlight. That was your cocoon phase. That's what they call the proverbial hero's journey. Because when you do the research about the hero's journey, they're in the underworld, in the darkness, dealing with all of the darkness that goes on in the darkness. people double crossing them, stabbing them in the back, you know what I mean? Trying to kill them and set them up, you know what I'm saying? All of the things that happen in the trenches, betrayal, king's disease, greed, gluttony, all of these things are part of the hero's journey. Many of us were on these phases, even in the cocoon phases when you're in your angry phase of consciousness and you just stressed out. You found out that they raped our people. You found out that they did what to pregnant slaves? Are you serious? No. Really? Wait, Black Wall Street was, wait, they bombed it? No, they didn't. Not America. Uncle Sam? Stop playing. Nigga, that's cat. And then you see it, and then they show you the pictures, and then you find out about great people that you never knew about, and then you found out that there was 100+ black inventors in the 1800s? Wait, what? All of this anger makes you sleep late because you're depressed. It gives you anxiety. It puts you in depression mode. Some of us stop getting to the bag and making money. Some of us lose weight. Some of us lose our appetite. Some of us lose our drive. Some of us just want to wear burlap. Some of us can't wait for the world to end. We become anarchists. Some of us vote for Trump in days like that. You know what I'm saying? In those phases. But it's just a phase. It's a cocoon phase. It's a dark phase. Some of us go crazy. I know some brothers who lost their minds. Began talking to themselves. I know some people that got committed by their family and they put them in 730 mental institutions because they were challenging the family at the dinner table about pork and shit like that. You know what I'm talking about? I know things happen to people that they did not get out of the cocoon phase. But I know more people that got out of the cocoon phase and grew their wings like butterflies, and they began to realize, hold on, I'm in touch with my ancestors. They not crying, they not dying, they not doing none of that stuff that I thought that they was doing. They chilling. And all they're trying to do is tell me how great I am. And for me to continue to procreate. And for me to stay away from this foul ass nigga over here and over there. And that this person is no good for me. Because that's my ancestor spirit is currently at war with their spirits of their ancestors. Okay? So they know what's going on the ancestral realm. And then they're like, nah, don't even worry about us. We good. We just here. We came for the experience. We actually wanted to get home. We wanted to get lynched. We wanted to see what it felt like. We wanted to go out like that. They made that contract before they even incarnated. Remember, your spirit and your soul even picks out who's going to kill you if you get killed. Everybody has a purpose. The same way that on the Serengeti, that zebra or that antelope that got killed by that lion, there was a contract that they made in the spirit realm before they even got there. You're getting too caught up on the movie and not who's directing it and not even the script and how you could change the script to your liking if you were in that room where the script is being written. And when they got you focusing on a movie, that's what people say when they say hoodwink, bamboozle, distraction. It's not real. They got you stuck in a matrix, in a box. They got you stuck in emotions. They got you stuck in your lower self. They got you stuck in fear. They got you stuck in hate. They got you stuck in victimhood. That's what they talking about. Whereas there's other people that's like, oh shit, I was the one writing that. My bad. I'm silly with the pen. Let me change it. Right? And by changing the script, you can change the past, you can change the future, and you can change the present. We don't know this stuff. When do we find this out? When we get initiated. How do we get initiated? You tell me. You tell me. You ate a piece of a chicken or a rooster's heart. You know what I mean? You tell me. How do you get initiated? Because my initiation is going into myself. And the only way that you could go into yourself, there's many ways. You can meditate your way in, heavy breathing, right? You could sit in a yoga position. You could sit in a certain position where your body will put you in that mental state where you could go within. But the initiation is to go into the darkness. And people think the darkness is the forest. I would say go into the darkness of the forest, or the rainforest, or the jungle, or even the ocean at night, but go inside your mind, the inner space. That's the initiation, facing yourself. Man, know thyself. How the hell, you're not going to know yourself reading a book. You're not going to know yourself going to Egypt. You're not going to know yourself by debating another Negro about who knows the most. Knowing yourself is going within. The real initiation and rites of passage, I think, is going within. Dealing with your core issues, dealing with your trauma, your DNA trauma, your ancestral trauma, unlocking certain things, right? Planning your next move for the next 100 years. All of that stuff. Programming your sperm so when you have a star seed, it can be a star seed. But you can program it while you are here, because as you are awakened, right? You are the machine, you're the temple, and your temple is producing something. Your temple is producing a certain kind of light. That light that your temple is producing, that light goes into a seed and creates another human being. That is it. But you can intentionally program that light, like you write a code. So you can create God within that temple, and then there's an extension where you can take that part of you and put it in an egg, and you can recreate yourself. God, come on, man. That's what they was doing in Kemet. That's what they was doing in India. That's what they were doing in places in Africa where they had the arranged marriages. It was a science. And they would procreate underneath certain constellations to break down certain types of energies and whatnot. Because as above, so below, it was a science. They wasn't just wham, bam, thank you, man. I'm trying to scratch an urge that I got. I'm feeling, I'm off the Henny. I'm trying to smash something. No, there wasn't on that. The man wasn't spilling his seed like that. He wasn't, that's the first sin. He wasn't wasting his seed like that. He wasn't killing himself. They were dealing with a level of alchemy that undisciplined Negroes are never, you know what I mean? They're profane. They are considered Goyim by the small hats. And there's other religions where they talk down on these niggas. So don't get in your feelings, because everybody got a name for that type of person. It's not a racial thing like the race baiters and all of these fear mongers and these fake woke niggas will try to have you think. It's not that. It's that in societies, there's the profane and there's the people that are not. Right? Can I get a fire emoji if y'all agree in the chat? There's the profane. There's the people who know and those who don't. And I spoke about this before. By a show of hands, how many people would rather go to private school over public school when you were growing up? By a show of hands, how many people would rather go through private school than public school? Right? By another show of hands, how many people would rather send their children to private school rather than public school? By a show of hands, how many people would rather be a private citizen than a public one? By a show of hands, how many people would rather their business remain private other than being in the public? The public is the profane. There's no value in the public. The public is trash. You understand what I'm saying? Public information, public school, all of that public stuff is trash. Okay? The private is not. And I can talk about that on multiple levels. You do not want to be in the public like that. To be a public figure is not saying anything in these days and time. To be a private figure, though, that's saying something. Who the hell wants to? You think being publicly known? You think this shit is a? You think this is a come up? You think I want to be recognized everywhere that I go? And I'm fighting an intellectual war with people that's not even warriors? What benefit does that do for me? It's like Neo the Matrix. All I see is Mr. Smith. Yo, regular. I'm like, chill. I'm blowing it up. I don't get no benefit off of you calling me out in the middle of the airport. I got pilots. Yo, Red Pill, bruh, relax. This is not your plane. You know what I mean? There was crossing guards and police officers and citizens. They tell you, don't do it for the fame. And I'm telling you, don't do it for the fame. Because there's people that will sell out their manhood. You know what your manhood is? And I don't want to get graphic. There's people who will sell themselves out and sign a contract and sell themselves away just to be standing on a stage or just to have likes, to release dopamine, just to be what they call popular. And they'll give up they'll be like, yo, hold on, before you about to jump right through the door to be into fame, like Leroy from Fame. Hold on, they'll pull you in. Before you jump, let me just get your publishing. Let me just sign this thing right here. We got the, you know what I mean, the Wizard of Oz. We got the yellow brick road. You can go twerk down the yellow brick road, and they buy and you sell everything that's called your soul on that piece of paper called a contract, right? They even get you a corporate America when you sign up. You feel me? They get you to you're gonna give up a part of yourself for something that they told you would be worthwhile. Going back to what I said, I watched a 48-hour marathon of Unsung, right? And I think I watched every episode of Where Are They Now? 89% of those episodes speak about being jerked by their contract and their managers, right? If you quack like a duck, my nigga, it's a duck, okay? So we've been repeatedly getting washed up by these sorcerers and these wizards who have understood the power of the word. Remember, the word is binding. The pen is way mightier than the sword. We could body you with the pen. If you got to lift up the sword, you're dealing with the profane. That's considered profane. If you could kill it with the pen, you're dealing with the private. Okay? The masters of the universe is dealing with the pen. And they got the profane fighting physical wars for them. But they bodying shit with a pen. Bro, private. You shouldn't want to get like that. That's the kind of protection that we're talking about going into 2021. That's the type of protection that the women that I know, when they say that women's priority is protection, that's the type of protection that they're talking about. They want to live on some private land. They want to do business. They want their business to be private. They don't want their shit on Broadway, right? They want their children to be taught in a private environment, not with the rest of the knuckle draggers. They don't aspire to throw their children into situations that will traumatize them the way that they were traumatized in public school. Hair getting pulled on, getting talked down to because you're smart and you want to shine your light and you want to be who you were created and made to be, right? There's children that will they're diametrically opposed to that. So in Atlanta or Atlantis, where many of the goddesses and the gods and whatnot, they have families. Salute to every single one of y'all. It's a beautiful thing. When I'm at the events, I see your families. I see your beautiful families. I see your precious starseeds. And I'm here to let you know, if we don't get together as parents to create not an after-school center, we have to create an experience for them. We have to create a safe environment for them to learn, to develop, and to grow, and to play amongst each other, and to eat both good food, good music, good television, good video games. We should create an environment for them to feed them on a daily basis, if not every weekend. You dig what I'm saying? We owe it to them at this point. We have the resources, we have the know-it-all, we have the wherewithal, we have the passion, and we got the money to collectively come together and do that for these babies. Because when I was 7 years old, I was exposed to the teachings and to the light and the information of Dr. Sabi, aka Alfredo Bowman, on the island of St. Croix, the same exact age that Wisdom Bella is. Wisdom Bella is able to get on this stage and talk on the mic. When I was 7 years old, I was petrified. I could not stand on no stage with Dr. Sabi. We would be sitting right there watching him. But I never could even fathom standing on the stage at 8 years old and being able to address the audience that he was speaking to. I was bathed in his greatness. It was like he was a 100-foot giant because I understood what I was witnessing and what I was seeing. I know, to be honest with you, I didn't understand it, but I knew that it was something big. And for that experience, what it did for me in my growth and development, I'm saying to the parents, why not do that for your babies? Why don't you want your 9-year-old or your 10-year-old or your 8-year-old to be in the presence of the great ones? Not red pill, because I don't take myself that serious. I'm talking about the other 100 brothers and sisters that we could, because at the end of the day, you see it on the internet, they got cross-dressers going to be reading to your babies bedtime stories right now, not in a minute. And when Creepy Joe and Kamala the Cop take over, they're going to ramp that up. So you're going to have mad cross-dressers and other people with, who don't love life. They're going to be talking to these babies. So what I'm saying is, why won't we introduce our babies to our heroes while they're still alive? Why don't we introduce the babies to the great people that we know? Why don't we put them in workshops so they can be entrepreneurs at 8 years old? What the fuck? What are we waiting for? Are you serious? There's an 8-year-old on YouTube making $2 million opening up toys. These babies are geniuses. These star seeds are geniuses. They can run their own businesses. I got all of the courses. I got the information. In the new internet digital economy, a 5-year-old could be if it's not about the numbers like that when it comes to money. I'm just saying, if you measure success as a millionaire, a 5-year-old could be a multi-millionaire. Being a 5, they don't gotta be grown. We're not talking about making no children rap about killing people. We're not talking about how they had that thing on Netflix called Cuties and whatnot, where it was the little girls having a twerk competition, and they actually aired that. We're not talking about degrading their sexuality. We're not talking about hypersexualization. We're not talking about mandingo wrestling for little children where they just fighting and no. We're talking about just them being innocent 5-year-olds and shining their intellect and shining their light and talking about the things that their parents are teaching them about, like consciousness. That right there that's a whole business right there. Have the children do product reviews. Have the children listen to your album and do album listenings. I mean, there's so many options. We're going to be doing workshops coming up in the first quarter of 2021. And these workshops are going to be dealing more so with business acumen, business courses. It's going to be more business orientated. I'm going to be bringing in some business giants that are out here making millions of dollars right now. Young melanated entrepreneurs. And no offense to the elders, no offense to people that are not melanated, but I want people to get on these stages that are living the same, that are walking the same life, living the same life, listening to the same music, you know what I'm saying? Have the same stories that many of us can relate to. I don't want to overlook them. You feel me? I don't want to overlook them. I don't want to act like that they're not out here doing it big. So we're going to be bringing people to the audience that are going to be actively dealing with working, because I'm at the pace right now that I get stressed out if I don't every day something is not being accomplished. Like I get anxiety attacks if I'm not knocking down another goal every single day. That's how fast the quickening has me running on this hamster wheel. I got off one hamster wheel and I got on another one. But this new hamster wheel that I'm running on is about us. And I'm joined by essential workers on this new hamster wheel. It's people selling sea moss on the hamster wheel, elderberry on the hamster wheel. It's people that's running around doing wealth classes on a hamster wheel. There's people on this hamster wheel that's doing Reiki. Shout out to Sage in the building. There's people on the hamster wheel doing retreats, going to Tulum, Mexico. Shout out to Secret in the building. There's people on the hamster wheel making music. There's people on the hamster wheel selling hemp, telling you the importance of hemp. The new hamster wheel, the fact that I'm getting anxiety on this wheel is because so much potential exists on this wheel. So many things to do on this wheel. So many voices to feel on this wheel. So many voices that are begging to be heard on this wheel, and we will never get back on that other wheel. I'm excited about that. That's what 2020 represented. Jumping off of the titty of master and jumping onto your own titty. Jumping onto your own grid. Removing yourself off of that grid where they're feeding off of us and getting back onto a grid where we could talk about ownership. We could see it. There was 19 families that went and bought what was that, Toomsboro? They went and purchased Toomsboro, and they were on a podcast called Earn Your Leisure, and they were giving you the plus degrees on buying land. What is the plus degrees? The plus degrees is, yeah, you could buy land, but let's talk to the people 6 months later so they can tell you the pros and the cons. They can give you the scientific breakdown about what it is that you need to make a city, to make a town, to make a province. You know, all of these things mean something. A municipality. So shout out to the doers, shout out to the thinkers, and shout out to the knowers. But more importantly, in 2020, shout out to the doers, because this was do or die, right? This was do or die. If you was about that life, you got a pop quiz. You got tested. Some people failed the test, but more people passed it. All right. So when we talk about being proactive, when we talk about having our minds on the presently present, but also anchored into the future, when we talk about doing for self, when we're talking about cutting out the middleman and just going right to the people, direct to market, we're going to bring about more solutions. We're going to bring about more products. We're going to bring about more services. We're going to show you that the future that you're talking about, that you're waiting for, is right now. It's just that the people are not having those conversations. That's why communication is key. So we want to communicate effectively. So I want to bring up a guest of mine who fits every single box of that criteria. The brother is dealing with solutions. The brother is dealing with a product that will enrich you and your family. The brother is dealing with cutting out the middleman and getting right to it. The brother is dealing with information that will liberate you if you are proactive, if you're on offense, not waiting for what somebody does to us, not waiting for how somebody talks about us, not waiting for how somebody makes you feel. That's some Nate Robinson defense type of thing, right? He's a defense player. Yeah, we're talking some Jake Paul shit. Offense. That good uppercut, right? So my good brother TARIQ from Smoke and Grow Rich Tours has an event coming up in December that Red and Blue Pill will be a part of, and we're going to be dealing with the HEMPIRE, okay? The hemp industry. So I'm going to bring to the stage my good brother TARIQ. He's going to break down what is going to be taking place in this workshop that's coming up in Atlanta in the first week of December. All right? Give that man a round of applause in the chat room, on YouTube, the family out there, Melanin Monday, also the family out here at 640. Thank y'all for your time and your attendance and your attention. And we're going to get right to it. All right? My good brother, Smoke and Grow Rich. Give it up!
What's good, family?
Alright, it's good.
I feel like Big on the Nas feature.
That's right.
I gotta sit down, man.
Yeah, make yourself comfortable.
Yeah, I'm gonna get comfortable, man. We're gonna move. We gotta go in real quick.
Yeah, talk that talk.
Okay. So, my name is TARIQ Bey, also known as Destiny Grind, also known as
KTL alumni.
Oh, we gonna get to that.
Hold on.
We gonna get. I'm a KTL alumni.
This is Destiny Grinds for all of my KTL alumni. This is Destiny Grinds. If you have been with us since Blog Talk days, you know the power of Destiny Grind.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, let me tell y'all my red pill moment. was about 2005 after Katrina. I was working at the Charlotte airport. I was down on my luck, you know, was going through some things. And I had just got fired from my job. I remember this, man. I was smoking trees and I was driving one of those trucks. There were a few of the planes and I ran into the plane. So I knew a piss test was coming. So I dipped out real quick because I knew it was going to be problems with that. So I lost my job, man. I remember an elder came to me and said, man, look, man, don't let them break you like that, man. You know what I'm saying? And he gave me a bag of tapes, cassette tapes. I'm a Charleston. I'm a Charlotte at the time, but I'm from Charleston, South Carolina. You know what I'm saying? And we don't get no information down there back in the day. So I took this bag of tape home, and I'm looking at these tapes. I put this one tape in. It's crazy, man. This tape is called Out of the Mind, Into the Womb. It was from the House of Consciousness, and it had Brother LADEE.X. And I watched this tape, man. Damn. We ain't just niggas. I mean, you know, I've seen this whole story. We for what? It was like a whole, that was my red pill. I woke up. And so I'm like, damn. You know, I guess I'm woke now. So what I did was I took that tape. We got some, one of those machines that you record, you dub the, you burn it, yeah. You put the tape, you put the tape on DVDs. Yeah. So we burned up about 100 of them, 200 of them. I know also there was some bread, but yo, I had to do what I had to do. So we started distributing these DVDs throughout the South, man. We started getting them to people, man. And I remember when I walked into a trap house or something. I was grabbing some weed, man. And I saw these gangsters, these thug niggas, sitting around watching this DVD. I said, damn. Like Brother Red Post said, man, the thought leaders, man. I was a thought leader. The thoughts and the words on that tape changed me, had me thinking different. And it started my journey in this consciousness thing. And that led me up to 2011, State of the Union address. That's when I got my first show on Know the Ledge. That's when Destiny Grind was on. So you ever go back to Blog Talk Radio, go check that out. I just want to share that story, man. Yo, Sinetta, House of Consciousness, that was the first tape that I saw. I saw that introduced me to Brother Phil Valentine, that introduced me to Bobby Hemmett, that introduced me to Khalid Muhammad. It was all from there. Because once you wake up, you can't go back. There's certain shit you can't do. You know what I'm saying? Like my venture right now, smoking raw rich. That started off in 2015. When I heard that they was making marijuana legal as a recreational drug, and you could just smoke it like that, you just ain't gonna tell me nothing like that. I got to go see for myself. So I hopped on the bird, me and the partners, we hopped on the bird, and we went to Denver, Colorado, 2015, 420. I'll never forget that day. Ricky Rose was out there, Lil Weezy, it was crazy. It was in the front of the courthouse steps with mad police around, smoking cannabis, smoking weed right there on the courthouse steps, man. I remember going to the dispensaries around the corner. They had a line wrapped around buildings selling weed. Busloads of people coming, man, everybody blowing, man. This was a trail of smoke out there. I'm saying to myself, damn, this is crazy. It's some money being made, right? So when I got into the dispensary, when it was my turn to get served for the first time legally, when I got in that dispensary, I looked around. When I looked to the back, that line was going way back. You know what I saw in that line? I saw everybody. I saw a lot of us in there, melanated people. Who's in that line way back, on the block. A But when I turned where the money was at, because they had a big safe in the corner, they had some cash business. They had a big safe. I'm 7 feet tall. Safe was about taller than me. You get what I'm saying? And in front of me, ain't nobody look like me, was where the money was at. Now, like I told you, I'm from Charleston, South Carolina. We no ordinary niggas. I'm from where Bumpy Johnson and Cash from. My uncles, my daddy, all those hustlers. I knew something going on with this picture, something was wrong. And my mind is, you mean to tell me all the people that I got locked up, I've been arrested for marijuana, locked up in cars and treated like a criminal. You understand? So all the people, the family members, the homies, everybody you know that got locked up for this weed, and now they're making millions of dollars, they got a license to sell dope and we ain't got that? That's what I'm thinking. I'm telling you how smoking board was gonna start. I'm like, damn, how do I learn the game? I wanted to learn how to be on the outside of that counter. I want to be collecting the money, not paying the money. So I asked, I'm in Denver, Colorado at the time. This is the Silicon Valley of weed. You understand what I'm saying? We look at my audience. I'm sorry, man. I'm acting like I'm not even with a room full of people. I went there and I talked to the people that was in the game that was setting up these things. Because we were friendly out there. And I'm like, yo, how do I learn how to do this? It's like, cool, we'll teach you. This is going to cost you 30 racks just for us to talk to you. $30,000 just to talk to them. That's a problem at the time. I'm like, damn, how do I get this 30 grand to have this conversation so I can learn how to get this bread? Then I remember, I used to read this book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Go check that book out if you never read it before. It's a crazy book. Napoleon Hill was a poor white boy who grew up in West Virginia. He had no money, dirty shoes, no shoes on, robbing people. You know what I'm saying? He was acting like a nigga. So this pops married this doctor. No, his pops married this lady. She's educated. She's telling me, you got to quit acting like that. You got to change the way you think. And so Napoleon Hill like, cool. So he started changing the way he think. And he went and hollered. He started working at a newspaper. He went to college. He started working with this newspaper. And they said, yo, we want you to do this interview. He said, cool, who you want me to interview? He said, yo, we want you to interview the richest man in the world. The richest man in the world at that time was a dude named Andrew Carnegie. Andrew Carnegie was the steel dude. If you see all the buildings with the skyscrapers and everything, that's made of Carnegie steel. He probably jacked it, but you know the game. That was his thing. He was a steel type, and he made a lot of money. So he was like, yo, when Napoleon came to him and said, oh, yeah, I want you to, I done did everything in life. I done made all this money, and I want to leave the way I made my money. How somebody come over here from Ireland with a potato in their pocket and become the richest man in the world. Napoleon was like, cool, I'll take the job. So he wrote him a letter of introduction, a letter to talk to everybody that was popping at the time. And everybody who was popping at the time, people like Rockefeller, people y'all might call it Illuminati these days, Morgan's, all that, Henry Ford, all those cats that was making money. And he found out what made them pop. And it was some secrets that they learned from our history, our people. I wouldn't have known that had I not took the red pill. You understand what I'm saying? When I read it, I said, damn, this is our information. They was talking things like like the power of your minds, all the suggestions. But was one thing that they said that make things happen was something called a mastermind. The masterminds when you got people that's on the same level, thinking about accomplishing the same objective on the same page, that ain't hating on each other, trying to make some shit happen. And you know that's one of the hardest things to do amongst black folks. That shit damn near impossible. You ever try to get a bunch of niggas to work together? Oh my God. You understand what I'm saying? But those men did it. They did it. They created some of the most powerful companies in the world that's still going on right now. You know what Ford is? Edison, the lights, you know? So I was like, okay, let me try that. Let me try this mastermind thing. So I created, I said, what? 30 grand for one person is a lot, but 30 divided by, 30 people, that's a grand a piece. How do I get 30 people to work together and come on this situation with me? And I created what's called a Smoke and Growers Tour. And I started selling tickets to the tour. So I got the 30 people together. Shout out to the Pills. We made that happen. And it was an historical event. It was the first time minority or African American owned black minority company was able to pull off an educational cannabis tour. Shit, he was on Sway and Horn with that. You know what I mean? And the tour they did what they were supposed to do, man. We saw, because you gotta think about it, man. People think about the cannabis game, and you got a cousin that's growing weed in the basement and shit, and that's different. We talking about scale businesses. We talking about an industry. You know what I'm saying? We talking massive grow houses. We talking about genetics. We talking about all that. We got to see all that on the tour. We went to the grow houses. We talked to the scientists. They told us how they grow it. They showed us how they grow it. We went to the processes. We went to the labs. We saw the technical aspect. We saw the business part. We went to the dispensaries. We saw all of that. That was crazy. So I'm like, damn. So as I'm going through this cannabis journey, right? It was all about the marijuana. Everybody wanted to get high. You came on Smoke and Grow Rich, so you learned. But I took you to another planet too. We was out there with some of the best, some of the best weed in the world. But anyway, it was all about the cannabis at first. And then I remember because of my teachers, because like I said, certain things, once you go, certain shit you cannot do. I started thinking about the Maya principle. What good am I doing if I'm just flooding the world with dope? Just getting these niggas more high. I gotta balance it all. I can show you how to get into the cannabis space, but there's another side of this plant I was ignoring. And it was the hemp. You know what I'm saying? It's the same plant, cannabis. To explain it, think of cannabis like that. Cannabis, marijuana, THC, that's like Cardi B. Hemp, that's like Michelle Obama. You feel what I'm saying? It's a different situation going on. So when I started looking at this plant, this hemp, it took me down this rabbit hole, man. It took me to the story of our people in this country and this plant. Ain't just about the weed, it's called industrial hemp. This plant can make over 25,000 different products. 25,000 different products from the plant. It just don't get you high mixed products. 1619, when they said that boat landed over here when they was bringing slaves over. When you set up your colony for the European country, the law stated that you have to grow hemp. No exceptions. It was the law. Because all the boats, all the sails, all the clothes, everything that was made of this plant called cannabis. Hemp. So you came over here, you had to plant hemp. The king wanted THC. THC, that's what the king of England wanted. Tobacco, hemp, and cotton. Them three right there. THC, that's what he wanted. So the thing about hemp though, in order to take that plant and turn it into, you see the drip I got right here? Imagine this is made of hemp. But to turn this into hemp, you have to process it. You have to have certain equipment or it's labor intensive. So, when we came on our boat in 1619, the white folks weren't doing no labor. You understand? We was doing all the labor. So, the slaves, we just went pick the cotton. We was handling this hemp. And we had to do what's called breaking the hemp. We had to break. It's an intensive job to break that hemp and turn it into the fiber and stuff like that to make this stuff right here, the sails and all to the boat. It was so crazy that Kentucky was called, nigger hemp. Nigger hemp. That's what they was called. Because you have to have slaves that know what they was doing to make this plant. So we was doing that. 16, 19, all the way to 1865. We was doing that. And we was good at it. We was the best. And then what happened? 1865, they so-called freed us, right? And remember, I'm connecting all the dots. They so-called freed us in 1865. When Sharon was coming, this is Atlanta right now. A lot of people don't know Atlanta was burnt down to the ground. They burnt this shit down. Everything is burnt to the ground. That's why Atlanta finished rising back up from ash to Sherman. When Sherman from the Union Army came through, he burnt every plantation, every city he came through in the South to cripple it. And all those plantations had black people and slaves on them. You understand what I'm saying? So when they burnt down these plantations, these black people, they had nothing to do no more. They had no job, they had nothing. So what they did was they started following the armies around from time to time. And this is a couple of hundred turned to 200, 300, 400. Tell it was about 5,000 of them following Sherman after he was freed from these plantations, walking around. They became what's called the Negro problem because they weren't doing nothing. They weren't producing anything because everything's gone. You understand what I'm saying? The army's job was to fight, not to drag a bunch of black people around. You understand? There wasn't no welfare shit back then. You understand? So the army had a problem. And so when they got to this creek, on the way to Savannah, because they was trying to get to Savannah, they got to this creek called Ebenezer Creek, December 9th, 1865. When they got to this creek, the Confederate armies, who just got their shit burnt down, was pissed. They mad. They're like, yo, niggas they took my niggas, they burnt my plantation down. Yo, you understand? So just imagine, these people was on their heels. They was coming. So when they got to the creek, the army built a bridge. It's called a pontoon bridge. They built this bridge so the army could cross. So the army crossed over. They took the animals, they took the equipment and everything. They put guards at this bridge. And they pulled the bridge up. Now imagine this shit. Imagine the story of, who was that? That was Moses, right? Imagine Moses, right? Y'all remember the story of Moses? Imagine he running from the Pharaoh, he got people behind him. He get to the water, the Red Sea. He get there, cross the Red Sea, parted, he crossed, only by his damn self, and then close the Red Sea behind him and let the people get killed. That's what happened, man. All those black people, they got to this creek, they couldn't swim, they couldn't get across. Hundreds of them drowned. The rest of them was massacred. It became the Ebenezer Creek Massacre. The Ebenezer Creek Massacre. And when that shit hit the newspaper, Lincoln was looking dumb. You said you was trying to free these black people, you let that happen? Oh my God, he was looking real bad. He had to do something. So he sent his man down here, Stanton, to holler at Sherman and say, yo, Sherman, we looking bad out here. These black people ain't got nothing to do, we got to do something. So Sherman said, okay, let's have a meeting with the black people. So they went and they gathered about 20 black folks. They picked 20 of them, the so-called influences of their community. It was an influence shit going on. It was influences. They picked out 20 black people that could influence the rest of the black people what to do next. And now them 20 influences, they picked one influencer to represent them. His name was Reverend Frazier. He was a reverend. But he was a hustler. He was a free man. He didn't wait till the Union Army came to the South to free himself. Nah, he hustled. He saved his money. He stacked his chips. He freed himself. He had businesses. You understand? So the other 20 influencers were looking at him like, yo, he's a hustler. He know what it is. He know about this capitalism shit. He not even making money out here. Let's go hard at him. So they made him represent us in Savannah, Georgia. In January 16th, I believe. I know the dates. This all comes from the him. I'm telling you. So check this out. So at this meeting, they said, yo, what do y'all black people want? And damn, 300-400 years. Y'all done built this motherfucker. Look at the city. Look at these cities. Everything in America was built by us. Everything. And we just went picking hemp and cotton. I'm from Charleston. Nah, the master will rent us out because we was the architects, the masons, all the technical shit. We did all that. They was renting us out. You understand what I'm saying? So it just went no picking cotton. Get that shit out your mind right now. Everything. Everything. We was doing it. So y'all ain't got nothing. Y'all ain't got no money, no land, no nothing but the clothes on your back. What is it that you people want? Now we could have asked for anything at that time. We could have asked for bread. We didn't ask for no bread. We could have asked for some hairs to roll because that shit was messed up. Nah. You know what Reverend Frazier asked for? He said, you know what? We kind of like in the South right now. The South is agriculture. Agriculture is the shit. Agriculture feeds the planet. Agriculture is the world right now. We've been doing this shit for 400 years. Let's keep doing what we do. Give us some land. We have it from there. You keep all the other bullshit. Just give us some land. We cool. We straight. We don't need nothing from you. Just give us some land and keep them off our back while we try to build our shit back up. Sherman said, cool. That's all y'all want. Because at the time, when Sherman came through, they dipped. They was afraid of Sherman. He was burning them down. So they left all these landowners from Charleston, South Carolina, the Sea Islands, all the way down to Florida. I'm talking about Hilton Head, all that type of shit. All that. They abandoned it. So Sherman signed Field Order 15. This shit y'all known as 40 acres in the view. That's where I came from, because of Ebenezer Creek, it was looking bad. So the 40 acres in the mule thing was signed. They started distributing land. They gave 400,000 acres to black folks from Charleston all the way down to Florida. They gave it to them. 40,000 people took the land. You understand? Because we was, come on, man. Who's going to be our competition? Think about that. You're not finna outgrow us. We got, come on, man. Give us some education. We good. Let's go to school. Let's blind us from learning how to read. Give us some education. We're going to take it from there. That's all. Nah. I can't have it. So y'all know what happened after that. When Lincoln did that, when Lincoln allowed Sherman to do that, man, that's what got him popped. You understand? But once he got killed, the new president came and they took the land back. So we had for about a year, I think, 6 months or something like that. They took the land back. But still, our people, we resilient. He's like, nah, we'll go buy our own land. So we went, hustled up some bread, and we started buying land. And by the 1900s, we had over 14 million acres of land in America. Black people have 14 million acres of land in America. The other day, man, I was just running some numbers. I'm like, damn, if you have 14 million acres of hemp, 14 million acres of hemp, I mean, I put it in the calculator and it broke it. I don't even know how to read your numbers. I don't even know what that look like. Anyway, 14 million acres of land we had in 1900s. Then the sharecropping thing happened, and then a lot of us started out to these cities. Like we start looking down on the black folks. You start looking down on your cousins and your couple country niggas. You start looking down on them. They don't know nothing. They stupid. They don't like, why don't you want to do that? We start caring about the man. We start forgetting. And then the dumbest thing we ever did, I'm talking to everybody right now, in the room and on the internet, the stupidest shit black people ever did. Because we didn't know any better. They ran hustle. They hustled us. The dumbest thing we ever did was hold 14 million acres of land and heirs property. Who ever heard that before? Heirs property. Heirs property. You know, Your mama died or your grandmama died, who owned the land? All cousins, brothers and sisters, is property. Ain't in no trust, ain't in the proper documentation. So, that being the case, when you hold land in heirs property, if I know you got your land in heirs property, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna look for the weak man. I'm gonna look for the cousin who in New York or something. Who don't even care about y'all kids? I'm gonna look for him. His pocket's hurting. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all, I looked you up. I know you got like 10% of that land down there. Let me give you 15 grand real quick. He's gonna take that 15 grand. Because he took that 15 grand. Now me, because if I know the law, I'm telling you this is what the white folks did us. This is what happened to us. Now that I know the law, I can go down and force a sale. I can force you niggas to sell me this land now at market rate, but it's gonna be cheap. You understand? This is how we've been losing all our land. And then black farmers not getting no loans to compete with the white farmers. Why? Ask yourself why. Because it's the land. It's always been the land. People start to wake up. Shout out to the family going out there getting those acres of land. You understand? You know who else did that? Yeah. Shout out to y'all. It was another hustler back in the days. It was like 1907, 1908. Had a last name of Gurley. I forgot his first name. He's from Mississippi. He was from a place called Greenwood, Mississippi. He was a hustler too. And he heard about some territory out there in Oklahoma. So he ran out in Oklahoma, bought him 40 acres of land in a spot called Tulsa. They called it Greenwood. And subdivided it into sections and stuff selling out to black people. Just like they're doing right now in Toonsboro, same type of shit. When he subdivided that land, the black folks went out there and they built up a county. They built up a community. It was called Black Wall Street. But it had an economy. You can't have, I don't care where you go, you gotta have an economy when you go. And Tulsa was the oil capital of the world. So a lot of the land that they made us walk to, I ain't gonna get it. You was talking about Jackson? Yeah. Andrew Jackson, yeah. Right now, we in Atlanta, Georgia. Y'all see these little counties out here? Cherokee County, Suwannee, and all that right there? This used to be all Indian territory, Native American territory. We was here too. This land, they made a trade. Because the Europeans was coming over from Europe and they needed some land. The East Coast was already inhabited by, Native Americans and us. So they made them a deal and said, yo, let's trade you. We're going to take this Georgia. We're going to take North Carolina, Tennessee, Arkansas, Mississippi, all that shit. We're going to trade y'all for Oklahoma. We're going to give you all our land to the Oklahoma territory. We're going to take this, we're going to go swap. We're going to sign a treaty, we're going to swap that out. If you stay, you become a citizen. If you leave, you don't handle your business. Those who decided that they wanted to go to Oklahoma was forced to walk by Andrew Jackson, sent troops down here. Now, it wasn't no teepees and shit. So you think about it, wasn't no teepees, it was cribs. Small towns and cities, knocking on doors, y'all got to go, eviction, get up out of here. They made a walk all the way to Oklahoma and gave out and to some of the worst land, the worst part of Oklahoma. But it just happened to be out there. That's where the oil was at. You understand what I'm saying? So we got that land, oil popped off, Black Wall Street happened. Now what all this got to do with him? Right now, 2018, Teflon down the Trump. This is one thing Trump got right. He passed what's called the 2018 Farm Bill. Go look it up. The 2018 Farm Bill. Everybody talking about marijuana, everybody talking about cannabis, weed, that's cool. But it's really, 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 really hard to get into that. You understand what I'm saying? It was a documentary that came out called Smoke. Weed documentary. Look like some spoken word rich shit. We're going to talk about that later. But, so, this documentary is telling you this weed thing. is exploding. Money's being made, not by us though. We can't get into the game because stupid regulations and shit. In some cases, to get a license, you gotta have $2 million of cash in the bank just to get the application. $2 million just for the application in some states. You understand? If you're a felony, if you ever got convicted of selling weed, something that corporate cats getting plaques on the wall for right now, you had got convicted of that, you couldn't even work in a weed spot or get a license. You understand? So it's very, very hard for black people to get into the marijuana business and participate in. I can show you how to do that. You know? I can show you how to make that happen, but it's gonna cost you some bread to do it. But the hemp game is wide open because of the 2018 Farm Bill. The 2018 Farm Bill makes cannabis legal. Hemp in all 50 states. The difference between hemp and weed is molecule THC, the cannabis THC and CBD. The THC count must remain under 0.3. They measure it. Anything over 0.3 in percentile is considered marijuana. Anything under that is considered hemp. That makes it legal in all 50 states. Some farmers, when the CBD game first popped off, some farmers was making $80,000 an acre with this plant, making CBD. The CBD oil you see in the stores right now comes from a processed plant for the oil. But it came from processed plant. You have to have a processor to do that. You understand what I'm saying? So the machinery to turn it into oil, they use that machinery, they process it, and they made money off of that. Some people was getting $80,000 an acre just off the plant. And this is legal in all 50 states now. Georgia just opened up this year. It's the first year it was legal to grow hemp in Georgia. So everybody's out here growing hemp, making money except us. We're not making no money. Why? Because we don't got no land. You understand? We ain't working together. We ain't got no processing equipment. We don't know what this damn plant, we think it's just about weed. Man, listen, man. It ain't just weed. You see this right here? This is called hemp wool. It's made of hemp. It's made of that plant. It's been broken down. It's been processed and turned into hemp wool. Hemp wool is used for construction work. This is like insulation in the crib. Most houses, like if you bang a hole, if you punch a hole in your wall right now, you're gonna have all type of fiberglass, all types of chemicals in that insulation you got in your crib. This is going to replace that. This right here. It absorbs moisture, thermal resistant. That means your energy bill comes down. All that. And it's made of hemp. Same stuff you smoking. This right here, this is called HEMPIRE. This is stalk of the plant. After you took the buds off, you got the stalk of the plant, you strip the fiber off. That's the fiber is used to make this right here. Or you can make fabric, clothes, whatnot. But this right here, this is HEMPIRE. This is the woody part of the fiber that they chop up. And you mix this with lye, and you create what's called hempcrete. You can build houses out of that. You understand? That's just 2 out of 25,000 different products. But in order to do that, you gotta have the proper equipment to do this with. That equipment is not in America at this time. Because of 1937, something called the Marijuana Tax Act. That's the law that made weed illegal around the world. And that should come about in 1937. No, man, this story be crazy. I didn't even believe so. This is so 1937. This dude named Harry Anslinger, we call him Dirty Harry. Harry Anslinger was what you know as the DEA today. He was the founder of all the drug enforcement. At the time, Harry, you know, was around the 20s or whatnot. Harry was banging up against the mob. He was banging up against the bootleggers because it was prohibition then. You understand? Alcohol was illegal. All the gangster moves y'all see back in the day, that was Harry Anslinger banging against them boys. But after prohibition ended, he had no more enemies. He was getting funded for that. He was getting money from the Treasury Department to fund to take care of the alcohol. But after that war was done, he needed a new war to fight. So they chose cannabis because at the time, Henry Ford, the dude who made the cars, he was like, I'm tired of paying. You know, he was about reducing his costs. He said, I need something that's going to bring my costs down. I'm paying all these petroleum companies to make all these parts, all this rubber, all this plastic, all that shit is made of oil. I'm paying too much money for this gas. I can turn this damn plant into gas. So I want to bring the cost down and start using the plant. So they came up with the machinery where you ain't need that crazy labor no more, because that's why hemp went away, because it was too labor intensive. So they came up with these brand new machines during the day. And that was the process and equipment that Henry Ford was waiting for to take this shit to a whole other league. But at the time, a cat named Hearst, was it Randolph Hearst, I believe, he ran all the newspapers. And newspapers and the media and shit, he had, I think it was it. He bought 1 million acres of trees because he was going to cut the trees down and turn that shit into magazines and newspapers and whatnot. So he had a lot of money invested in it. His investors had a lot of money in it. And you had the oil companies. They had money invested in the oil. So they told Harry Einstein, yo, we got to get rid of this hemp. That shit got to go. But you know, he couldn't just attack the plant like that. So in order to attack the plant, he had to attack the people that was associated with the plant. And at the time, it was us. You know what I'm saying? Just like the rappers today, you had jazz players. It was the rappers back then. You know what I'm saying? Louis Armstrong was like Jay-Z. You understand what I'm saying? So he started a war. Just like you got the hip-hop police, Harry Anslinger had the jazz police, and they started to arrest the cats. Louis Armstrong, I think, was one of the first ones that got locked up for marijuana back in the 1930s. So that's where the war on drugs started, to get rid of this plant right here, this hemp. So I say all this to say this, man. This coming Saturday, we have a workshop in Atlanta, Georgia, called Seize the Bricks. In this workshop, I'm gonna bring you the whole game. I'm gonna teach you how you can take this land that you got and turn it into an income producer situation. I'm gonna teach you how to go get a hemp license. What state you in? We'll show you how to go get one. All 50 states, we'll show you how to get a hemp license. We'll show you how to make sure you got the proper land, how to, get your soil tested. Make sure you ain't, because you can't just throw it anywhere. You gotta make sure the land right. You gotta make sure the soil right. We'll teach you how to set up your irrigation. We'll teach you how to grow the plant, take care of it. It's a labor-intensive plant. You gotta take care of it. If you're growing for CBD, we're gonna talk about that in the workshop. What do you want to grow? You want to grow CBD, or you want to grow some fiber? It's a different type of setup. You know what I'm saying? You want to grow hemp creep? What do you want to make of the plant? Who's going to process it? You don't have a processor, we'll show you how to get a process. We'll connect you with a processor. You can turn that into some bread for you. If you're in the construction business and you're interested in introducing this new product, come to the workshop. We're going to teach you about this product. Think about it, man. You can kill your competition by offering a product that's superior and it's made in that plant. Because the reason you want to use this product, because as the demand go up, supply got to go up. That means we want to need more farmers. So all you people contacting us and DMing us saying, yo, my family got 700 acres, and we got all this money, and we got this land. Listen, we can't do nothing for you if we don't have the market and we don't have the processing. You understand? So in 2021, the movement is create a market and get the equipment to process it. So those, I'm talking to like the family in Toonsburg. All that land you got out there. We put a processing facility out there. People come out there, get a hemp farm. We subsection this land off in the sections. Everybody get their little piece, and they grow. And they take it to the processor. We process it. We use some type of profit shit. It's an economy. We can grow. We can make CBD oil. We can make shit. It's a new THC called Delta-8. Check that out. This shit getting crazy every day. It's a new weed out, and it's called Delta-8 THC. It's the cousin of THC. It's made from CBD and it's legal in all states. And it'll lift you up a little bit. It'll get you out. Not too high. But what's the limit supposed to be? You know what I'm saying? But yeah. Anyway, you can grow that. You can make CBD oil, you can make the THC oil, you can make the fiber, you can make the clothes, all that, you know what I'm saying? But we need an economy. This is it. We can take this plant, we can build a HEMPIRE with this. If you think I'm playing, this is a company called Hemp Inc. They out in Nevada. The company, Nevada, Arizona. They got what's called a kids community, where a group of Europeans went out and bought land in the middle of the desert and growing acres and acres of hemp and taking the profits from the hemp and building them a community, reinvesting it back in the community in the middle of the desert. They built their own town. So they're probably straight right now. They don't keep on the rock. They're good. You know what I'm saying? Think about what's happening right now. We all flock to the cities. It's time to come back. Come get some of this land. Land cheap down here. But you gotta know what to do with the land. So that's the next move, man. So 2021, we got a project, 40 acres in the tractor. That's what we call it. We're gonna come out here, get you some of this land, grow you some of this hemp. We're gonna have a processing facility. We're gonna process this hemp. We're gonna have the hustlers out here, the influencers selling the products. We're gonna get it cracking. And if you wanna come to the Smoke Growers Store and I get to the marijuana business, I can help you with that too. But listen, we can't do that in every state. Hemp, you can do that everywhere. We can make that happen, man. Yo, Red, I'm good. I appreciate you using the platform, brother.
All right, give him a hand, y'all. Come on. Give him a hand, y'all. Chat room, give him the fire emoji, y'all. Light him up. Light him up.
My bad. Yo, so. Yo, go to seeds2bricks.com. That's how you register, seeds2bricks.com. A lot of people can't make it to live events these days, so we doing a webinar, live stream. You can get it online. We bring the whole game online. We got it on sale. We'll get your tickets right now. Learn this game because in 2021, this is going to be a $22 billion industry, and you're sitting on the sidelines thinking it's all about marijuana. But they ain't going to let you in that game like that anyway. You got to have 2 million. Get into this game right here. Take that land that your family got, and let's turn it into some money.
That's right. That's right, y'all. Give him a hand. That's what I'm talking about. Real life. Hold on. Solutions. Wait. You hear a ring? I hear a ring. Oh, somebody's calling. Hey, that's the money calling. Hey, what's going on? I'm on my headphone. You're not even on the money phone? Okay. Anyway. So, definitely tap into this workshop because, like the brother said, he has the solutions. This product right here it's a miracle plant as it is already. Like he was saying, we have a viable product for those of us who are really interested in making that move and removing ourselves from the big cities or remaining in the big cities but making an investment onto the outskirts where the land can be built out into be a small town, a municipality, even a city. It's gonna, yeah.
One free piece. I'm gonna give y'all one free piece. Hold on a second. Hold on. Anyway, so let me give you an example, real quick. A pound of CBD in North Carolina probably going for about $500 to $800 a pound. It's 440. This for all the hustlers out there. Look, y'all know what I'm talking about, right? So it's 448 grams in a pound, right? A pre-roll, a CBD pre-roll, CBG, whatever you got that's popping. You get the one that's popping. Right now, I suggest CBG. A gram of CBG will run you $10 to $15. Let's go with $10. It's $10 a gram for some CBG, right? It's $1,000 a pound. Do the math. Look what you done did to your money. So your $500-600 investment that you put into that pound, you flip that. Legally. Come to the workshop.
That's right, run the numbers up. Run the numbers up. You know, it's a viable business. There's a business model. It's in high demand. I was in what is that? What's the dollar store that's green? I was in Dollar Tree. They had CBD deodorant, shampoo, and lip balm. I was like, well, goddamn it. You know what I'm talking about? They're building an industry. They're in Kroger's, CVS, Walmart. So it's time for us to tap in to an industry that we could be either the suppliers, or we could create our own product lines, and we don't have to wait for nobody. I'm tired of being a customer. It's no fun as the customer. The customer is valuable. We love the customer. We work for the customers. But I want to produce. I want to be the manufacturer and the producer. We have to get back to production. You know what I'm talking about? We got to get back to produce. We have to be able to produce. Production, the children, that's the greatest form of production. But I would suggest you produce your own music, produce your own film, be the executive producers in your own projects. You know, produce, the food that we eat, we should be the ones growing that. You know the produce section in the store? We should be in charge of our produce, agriculture, you know, knowing where our food is coming from and being able to benefit financially from that. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. So we are gonna wind it down. This has been a wonderful night. Is my DJ in the building? This has been a wonderful night. It's kind of chilly out there in the streets. You know what I'm talking about? Jeff, you got something you want to say? Okay. It's kind of cold out there, so I want to get everybody back into their humble abodes, into their warm houses, central heat and all of that. You know what I'm talking about? And, we'll come back next week. Next week, we have a very special show lined up for you. We're going to be bringing our brother Bashir Music on board. The brother Bashir will be doing his music, and he'll be teaching class. Bashir Music, brother 19 Keys' younger brother. He's going to be one of our special guests for tomorrow, for next week, Melanin Mondays broadcast. So, we're just going to do a few sounds, we're going to do a few spins and whatnot, and then we're going to get up out of here. I think the kitchen is closed. Is that correct? Yes, the kitchen is closed. So make sure we support our vendors in the building. We got athletics in the building. Get yourselves a coat before you leave. Get a hoodie. Get a bubble vest. You know what I'm talking about? Get something to warm you up. But thank everybody for your time and your attention tonight. Love and light. For the family out there in YouTube land, let me go ahead and leave that Cash App so you can go ahead and support the channel because, that's the way that we do our support. It's through the Cash App. We don't have the the super chat. So shout out to everybody in the building. Go and stream the Red Summer album. Go and check that out. And go and take advantage of the Cyber Monday sales that we have at Kings County. 50% off the store. We also have a sale at the RedSummerMerch.com for the clothing for the Red Summer. And also on a Gumroad /Red Pillar. So with that being said, yes, question. For the workshop? Yes, you can register through the workshop. You can talk to the brother right there, and he'll be able to take your information. Where can they go online again if they want to get into the workshop? Seeds2bricks.com. All right, let me do something real quick. Let me put that on the screen before we log off. It's TO or the number 2? And it's bricks with an S or bricks.com. So here you have a family. Seeds2bricks.com. Go and register. Go and sign up. The future going into this post-COVID world is really going to be what you see right here. There's going to be a lot of online, live stream type of shows. You know, there's not going to be packed rooms like that anymore for a while. The emphasis is not to go to anybody's state to put on and do something. It's really going to be, well, in this week, we're going to be broadcasting all around the world. This week, you know what 2 events showed you the future of broadcasting? Mike Tyson and Roy Jones, their pay-per-view that broke records, and a Jeezy and Gucci Man battle that took place in Magic City with a few hundred, not even 100 people, but it got 8 billion impressions. Do you know what 8 billion is? That's the amount of people on the planet. Go and do the research. That battle got 8 billion impressions. Do you know what that means? Theoretically, they're saying everybody in the world watched Young Jeezy and Gucci battle it out digitally. Remember, you can't do that in the real world. So we just saw the whole market shift. There's a new economy. The whole entertainment, live entertainment market is going to shift during the second lockdown. Pay attention and get on top of it. Don't be a customer. That's these reactionaries. That's niggas on the defense. They're customers. They're not hustlers. They're not the ones. They're not the producers. The producers are on offense. So take the free game and run with it. Do something with this shit. To be honest with you, if it cost $100, it would be more appreciated. But take the game and do something with it and make that thing work for you. You know what I'm talking about? Real talk. Make it work for you. But the future of what we see, teaching and learning, and even for the promoters out there that are looking to make $20,000, $50,000, $100,000 for your events, it's going to be online. Just going to step the production up. Like the Roy Jones, who saw the Roy Jones, Mike Tyson pay-per-view? Did you see the production on that? It was upstairs, was it not? Right? So it's going to be about the production value. You're going to feel like you're there. Then they're going to come out with the virtual reality glasses, the halogens and the Oculus Rift. You're going to put on the glass. Yo, I put on an Oculus Rift. I was asking for mommy. Mommy. It turned me into a baby. It was so real. It scared me, the bejesus out of me. There was a game. I ain't going to get into it. But it was realer than life. They have manipulated the human mind to show you that this shit could be a simulation and you will never know. They're showing you with the virtual reality glasses that how you know you're not in a simulation. You don't know because you put these glasses on and I promise you, you will not know. You'll have to remind yourself, fam, this is not real because it's so real. So I'm just giving you a heads up. That's where the future is going. Facebook is going to introduce it through Libra, or it's called Facebook Portal. Mark Zuckerberg is going to roll it out because he owns Oculus Rift. So he's going to incorporate Instagram with the virtual. So instead of going into somebody's DM, you could go right in a room with her. Right from your home, you could slide right into a vixen's room. I promise you, OnlyFans is going to be virtual in a minute. How about that? I'm just giving you the heads up to the future so you can hit the gym and prepare yourself. Don't say I never, because I've thrown out a lot of nuggets that those who listened. We talked about Bitcoin in 2015. I talked about it, and niggas that I know invested in it. And it was like, yo, right, you don't got no coins? And I was like, I was too busy talking about it. But they went and got them coins. And they sitting back, smiling and beguiling, sitting on 300 Bitcoins, chilling. Cash App just accepted the Bitcoins, and somebody sent me the screenshot. They got people cashing in 300, 400 Bitcoins. They hitting up Cash App for 80 racks, 100 racks, and even more than that, millions. They going to Cash App for millions. I wonder why Cash App did that, but I guess if they did it, it means they can handle it. So this digital money game is going bonkers, y'all. I really hope that we get on top of it as a collective. It's no fun when it's just one of us telling everybody how we're winning and what we're doing. No. Why don't we have a collective experience so we could all smile together? That's what this brother's coming up here talking to you about. He like, yo, we could tap into this hemp shit. We could get on our own land and we could talk. We could talk that talk. We could walk that walk and we could talk that talk. We could actually grow stuff and do the math. We know down to the T. The same way that our people did when they were farmers, right? I don't want to grab the cotton on that shrine because I don't want to touch anything on the altar. But when we were growing that cotton and when we were in control of it, we knew the numbers. We knew how much it was worth. There's not that this act, and like I said, we live in a narco state. So if anybody's going to understand crops, it's going to be niggas in Atlanta and in the Carolinas because they're selling crops. The coca bean and the marijuana. That's what's running this whole goddamn city. It's a narco state. But now they got chemicals in the form of pills and whatnot, right? They got chemicals in the form of pills that they're selling and whatnot. But we're telling the brothers and sisters who have that farming they got it in their blood in Atlanta. That's why the homegrown niggas love to hustle. It's in their blood, right? But now we're saying instead of getting locked up and taking these felony chances, no, Bella, put that back, please, baby. Instead of taking these felony chances, right, you could grow your own crops and you could make your own money and you could make your own income off of your own stuff. Look at this cotton. I'm wearing cotton right now, right? How many Negroes are spinning this cotton into shirts and clothes? Right, Jefferson? Do we buy our blends from black people on farms? Huh? Do we buy our cotton from black people? Sharecroppers? We buying our cotton from Pakistanians and Chinamen and what they doing with the cotton? We the ones that picked it. So we should get on top of a crop, and that crop is hemp right now. And hemp is going to be enough to get us on our feet. And then we could collectively say, what other crop are we going to attack while they legalize marijuana in our faces? And we can't even touch it. That's a super smack in the face. So at least we got the hemp. So December 5th, where we going to be at? In Jonesboro. We're going to be doing a workshop, and I want everybody in the building to be there. Even my family online, I need y'all to tap in and to pull up because we're going to be there for you, all right? So with that being said, love and light to the family. Y'all stay up, stay dangerous, and we will see you on Third Eye Thursday, or we'll see you on the next Melanin Monday. Peace. All right?
High energy, full with the wisdom. Some rich man, knowledge in the rhythm. What I'm using and the style, so now